Hello, this is Zachariah The SHOW. Today I'm going to be talking about the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. This is the number one WrestleMania in my top 5 list. And the way I'm going to be doing that is by reading from this book, The 35 Years of WrestleMania, that I found at a library. Since I saw it, I thought this would be a perfect way to describe WrestleMania 25. And if I have any personal comments as I'm reading, I'll throw it in there. But right now, this is kind of just the read along, and then I'll maybe do it if I have to in another video. Talk about my experience going through this WrestleMania when I was young, when I was 12 years old. So I'm just gonna flip to the 25-year anniversary of WrestleMania chapter. Oh, nice. Okay. Starts on page 176. Okay, so WrestleMania 25, Reliance Stadium, Houston, Texas, April 5th, 2009. Attendance audience 72,744. Announcers Jerry the King Lawler, Jim Ross, Michael Cole. Spanish announcers Carlos and Hugo. Raw ring announcer Lillian Garcia. And SmackDown ring announcer Justin Roberts. Hall of Fame ring announcer Justin Roberts. Special field correspondent Todd Grisham. Special musical guests Kid Rock and Nicole Scherzinger. Special guest timekeeper Mae Young. And there's an event card that I'm going to skip. Okay. When you work with individuals like Shawn and Undertaker, there is an extraordinary amount of emotion and pride that goes into the art they are creating. Vince McMahon. WrestleMania Silver Celebration. A record-breaking crowd traveled to Houston to celebrate a quarter-century of WrestleMania history. After WrestleMania 17 at the Astrodome, many at WWE hoped the showcase of the Immortals would return to Houston, and for the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, Reliance Stadium served as the venue. Money in the Bank ladder match. Once again, 8 men looked to win the Money in the Bank ladder match and its guaranteed World Championship opportunity. 6 of the 8 competitors had previously competed in Money in the Bank, including the previous year's winner, CM Punk. Only Mark Henry and Kofi Kingston were new to the concept. To start the match, some competitors chose to battle in the ring, while others dove out of the ring looking for a ladder. 5 superstars scrambled up 2 ladders, battling each other to try and reach the briefcase. But Kane and Mark Henry toppled the 2 ladders, sending the men crashing to the ring and floor. Money in the Bank newcomer Kofi Kingston seemed born to perform in these matches when he leaped over a ladder attack by Christian and Shelton Benjamin, and later raced up a ladder being held by Mark Henry in an unsuccessful attempt to steal the briefcase. Some high-risk maneuvers proved just as hazardous for the initiator of the action as the victims, such as Shelton Benjamin. Benjamin's flip off a ladder on the entrance ramp, and Christian's unprettier on CM Punk off a ladder, straddling another ladder and the ring ropes. The match came down to Kane and CM Punk, and although the big red monster had Punk in a chokehold, the straight-edge superstar unleashed a barrage of kicks to Kane's head until he fell off the ladder and Punk claimed the briefcase, becoming the first two-time Money in the Bank champion. Battle Royal to crown Miss WrestleMania. As part of the celebration of the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, WWE decided to crown its first ever Miss WrestleMania. To earn the honor, a diva only had to outlast 24 other divas and win the 25 Diva Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. The competition featured most of the current divas, as well as past faces. Most of the current divas, including original diva Sunny, Tori Wilson, Molly Holly, Victoria, Miss Jackie, Divas Champion Maurice, Women's Champion Melina, plus Beth Phoenix, Mickie James, Natalya, Maria, Alicia Fox, the Bella Twins, and more. Every woman wanted to win the Miss WrestleMania crown, leading to a furious exchange between Michelle McCool and Mickie James. The two divas eliminated each other during a power struggle that took them from the top rope, twirling and crashing down to the floor. Beth Phoenix sent 10 divas out of the ring, while Brie and Nikki Bella combined to eliminate another 6. When Beth Phoenix and Melina were suddenly dumped over the top rope by a new diva which fans didn't recognize, the crowd was stunned. During the coronation ceremony, this new diva claimed to be Santino Marella's twin sister from Italy. Natalya recalls the Battle Royal in particular was a whirlwind. To have 25 divas from Royal in particular was to have 25 divas from the past and present, along with Santina, who loved to stick her nose where it didn't belong, was so much fun. I wish it could have been a little longer because there was more of a story to tell between myself and Beth Phoenix, but we were able to give a fun glimpse of what was to come. Jericho vs. 3 Legends. One of the surprise films of 2008 was The Wrestler. It featured Mickey Rourke's heart-rending portrayal of an aging down and out professional wrestler. Chris Jericho used the film to express his disdain for the WWE legends he once idolized, but that he felt hung onto the spotlight for too long. To prove his point, Jericho agreed to face 3 Hall of Famers, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, in a handicap gauntlet match at the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. Chris Jericho remembers, originally, I was supposed to work with Mickey Rourke at that show, and then it just didn't work out. I was kind of stranded with nothing, and then we came up with this idea to do a series of matches against the legends. Jericho had to defeat all three legends, but if he was pinned, forced to submit, or counted out once, he would lose the match. Jericho was confident he could handle the legends, but Piper surprised Y2J with an early attack, including a dropkick. Snuka managed to get his licks in and then tagged Steamboat, who entered a WrestleMania ring for the first time since WrestleMania 9. Ricky Steamboat recalls, "I was worried about being the performer people remembered. I was 56 years old and hadn't had a match in 15 years. But I got the adrenaline rush when I walked out like I did at the Silver Dome. I don't know if it's like riding a bike where you just get back on and ride, but I was able to perform the way I needed for the match, the fans and myself." The former undisputed champion endured the Legends' offense and began to turn the tide after he forced Superfly to surrender to his walls of Jericho. Wasting little time, Y2J threw Steamboat out of the ring and pinned Piper with a running enziguri. From the moment he entered the ring, Steamboat looked like he had turned back the hands of time. The Dragon flipped Jericho out of the ring and then dove out onto the former undisputed champion. The men battled back and forth until Jericho ended the match by hitting the codebreaker. In the wake of the match, Jericho lashed out and leveled Ric Flair, but that wasn't enough for him. In victory, Jericho demanded an apology from Mickey Rourke. The actor answered Jericho's challenge and entered the ring. Jericho probably regretted his action, as Rourke knocked Jericho out with a left hook. Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy. The Hardy Boys will be remembered as one of the greatest tag teams in sports entertainment history. But when they pursued individual glory, Matt Hardy became jealous of his brother Jeff's success. Matt began to sabotage Jeff's world championship opportunities, and when Jeff learned the extent of his brother's betrayal, he decided to get his revenge at the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. Having enjoyed so many WrestleMania moments together, the Hardys were now set to battle each other in an Extreme Rules match. The match resembled a human demolition derby. Jeff, always known to take crazy chances, first put his brother through a double stack of tables before his daredevil campaign backfired when he missed a leg drop attempt off a 30-foot ladder. The battles came to an end when Matt regrouped from the assault and dropped his younger brother with a twist of fate in a steel chair. The Intercontinental Championship match. While JBL had relocated to New York, he still bragged to the Houston crowd that he would gladly serve as their hero and inspiration, particularly given how meaningless their lives were. The wrestling god was clearly confident that he would be successfully defending his Intercontinental Championship against Rey Mysterio. Layfield tried to make his job even easier by hitting Mysterio with a boot to the face before the match started. But when the bell rang, Mysterio would have the last laugh. As soon as the match started, Mysterio stunned JBL with an enziguri, a 619, and a splash from the top rope. In 21 seconds, a new Intercontinental Champion was crowned, and embarrassed JBL took the microphone and quit. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. The two names most associated with WrestleMania are Undertaker, with his incomparable streak, and Shawn Michaels, Mr. WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels decided that he, more than anyone, deserved to try and end the streak at the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. Undertaker accepted the challenge, warning Michaels that he might regret making it. Shawn Michaels used his quickness to dodge early attacks from the Phenom and land strikes of his own. The more Shawn Michaels hit Undertaker with glancing blows, the more the dead man stalked his audacious challenger, waiting to unleash his demonic offense. Undertaker started tossing the Heartbreak Kid around like a rag doll, but Michaels responded with chops and attacks on the Phenom's leg, setting him up for a figure four leg lock. Undertaker was able to work his way out of the submission hold, and he blasted HBK with snake eyes. Undertaker wanted to end the match with a choke slam, but Shawn turned the move into a second submission move, the crossface. Undertaker was able to deliver a side slam in order to get out of the crossface, and then locked Mr. WrestleMania in the Hell's Gate submission. HBK leaped from the top rope with a moonsault. The Undertaker had the move well scouted and drove Michaels into the arena floor. Driven by a similar element of risk, Undertaker went for his remarkable running dive over the top rope when Shawn Michaels pulled a cameraman into Undertaker's path of destruction. The cameraman was expected to bear the brunt of the offensive, but Undertaker landed on his head instead. This produced yet another intense moment in WrestleMania lore as the referee began his count. While no one imagined that the streak would end on a countout, Undertaker remained on the floor. The referee's count continued, and as of 9, Undertaker was still on the ground. Somehow, in under a second, the dead man made it back into the ring. Shawn Michaels recalls, "When you spend enough time with somebody, even if you're not the closest of friends, you know them. I know Mark Calloway, and the fact of the matter is, if he's not dead, I already know we're finishing that match. It's WrestleMania, and it's just that simple." Both men fought proudly, continuing to pummel the other in toe-to-toe rounds of haymakers, reversals, and heart-stopping near pinfalls. The streak was never in greater jeopardy than when, after crushing the Phenom with an elbow from the top rope, HBK was able to hit sweet chin music. Despite that powerful kick, Undertaker kicked out at 2. When Michaels leaped off the top rope in an attempt to hit the dead man with a moonsault, Undertaker caught him in midair and administered a final tombstone. The victory ran Undertaker's streak to 17-0, and Shawn Michaels, even in defeat, lived up to his Mr. WrestleMania moniker. Vince McMahon remembers, when you work with individuals like Shawn and Undertaker, there is an extraordinary amount of emotion and pride that goes into the art that they are creating. By the way, they didn't like each other, which means that the performance is all the more extraordinary. If you like someone or you have similar interests, it makes it an easier dance, so to speak. They did not like each other going into that, yet they put on this unbelievable performance. Coming out of that performance, they had unbelievable respect for each other. That's the thrill of the big payoff, the respect that you earn by performing at that level. That's what our business in performance is generally all about. It's the giving, not the taking. You had two individuals who wanted to have the best match ever. That was their goal, and they accomplished it. Triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. For the second consecutive year, Edge entered WrestleMania as World Heavyweight Champion. He thought he'd be defending the title against Big Show, but his wife, SmackDown General Manager Vickie Guerrero, instead put him in the difficult position of having to defend the title against both Big Show and Triple H in a triple threat match. John Cena blackmailed Guerrero into adding Cena to the match in place of Triple H, or he'd reveal that Vickie had been cheating on her husband, having an affair with Big Show. After being added to the match, Cena spilled the beans anyway, increasing the tension and animosity in the three-way confrontation. John Cena came out firing on all cylinders, attacking both Edge and Big Show. But when you have Big Show, the world's largest athlete, in the match, momentum can change with a single giant-sized punch. And the Show rocked Cena to take control. Edge's attempt to align with Big Show backfired, and the world's largest athlete began to dole out massive amounts of punishment. The almost 500-pound superstar annihilated his opposition with bone-shattering right hands and crushing corner attacks. The crowd let out a collective gasp when Show stepped on Cena, but John was able to recover and toss the massive giant out of the ring. Later, Big Show became tangled in the ropes and rendered immobile, so Edge and John Cena tried to finish each other off. Vickie Guerrero climbed on the ring apron to shout instructions and encouragement, but that turned out to be a bad idea when Edge's spear missed John Cena and nailed her instead. This distraction allowed Big Show, freed from the ropes by the referee, to take control again, beating both men and blasting John Cena with a knockout punch. Each man came so close to winning the match, only to have the third participant break up a pinning combination or submission attempt. Thinking Cena was down, Edge tried to level Big Show by leaping on Show's back and locking on a sleeper hold. But John Cena then performed one of the most incredible moves in WWE history, lifting both Big Show and Edge, a combined 735 pounds, onto his back for an attitude adjustment. Edge slipped off, but Cena sent Big Show crashing to the mat. He then picked up Edge, giving the Radar Superstar an attitude adjustment as well, trapping Edge onto Show. Cena then pinned the massive Big Show to become the World Heavyweight Champion. Triple H versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Recent fans of WWE that watch the Authority do what's best for business may find it hard to believe, but for years Triple H and Stephanie McMahon kept their marriage under wraps from the WWE universe, choosing to separate their professional and private lives. That all changed when Randy Orton, the winner of the 2009 Royal Rumble match, decided to get into the head of the WWE Champion Triple H by targeting the game's father-in-law Vince McMahon, brother-in-law of Shane McMahon, and his wife Stephanie McMahon. The Viper wanted the WWE Championship and was willing to cross any line to get it. Orton elaborates, "I slapped the hell out of Vince and kicked him as hard as I could. Same with Shane. It was extremely intense. I RKO'd and DDT'd Stephanie McMahon and kissed her on her mouth. It was full of drama and suspense. I feel that was the best work I've ever done. I wish we could do more work like that." Triple H didn't want to just defend the championship. He wanted to hurt Orton for all the heinous actions Orton and his legacy minions had performed, but an additional match stipulation would keep the game in check. If he were disqualified or counted out, he would lose the championship. Triple H began the battle with a flurry of strikes to Randy Orton's body, but Orton soon stunned the champion with an early RKO. Rather than go for the pinning attempt, Orton looked to punt Triple H in the head, the move he'd used on the champ's father-in-law and brother-in-law. Triple H avoided the attack and hit Orton with a pedigree, but the Viper rolled out of the ring before he could be pinned. On several occasions, Triple H considered brutal attacks, such as striking Orton with a television monitor or delivering a pedigree onto the announce table, but the moves would have caused a disqualification and the loss of his championship. Even worse, the hesitation in both cases gave Orton time to recover and take control of the match, including using his DDT move on the game out on the floor outside the ring. Orton crept under the ring and brandished Triple H's sledgehammer. Triple H regained his composure and punted Randy Orton's skull as the Viper slithered into the ring. Triple H was then able to hit Orton with another pedigree and gain the pinfall victory, retaining his title. Despite the stunning performance by both superstars, the match fell a bit flat with the audience. Orton remembers, we followed Taker and Shawn. When you're kicking out of tombstone pile drivers, choke slams, and super kicks, that's a pretty big deal. Me and Triple H had the best story going into Mania by far, but I think the people had just seen one of the best matches ever prior to ours, and they were spent. They were just spent. I remember Hunter and myself being a little disappointed with how the reaction was, but we knew why. Shawn and Taker put on a hell of a match. And that is the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. As I was reading that, the education of this WrestleMania is super high, especially when you look at the Chris Jericho versus the Legends match. You get to see like a timeline of guys who have taken this industry by storm and become legends in the industry. And you can tell the passion that they still had from so long since their previous match and they were in ring competition. And still wanting to perform in a match like 15 years later, like Ricky Steamboat. It just goes to show how amazing this industry is, and this company, WWE. You get the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels match, which are legends at this time in their own careers, and they're putting out the best performance of any WrestleMania match of all time, and they've had a history they've had such a history in the past, starting the Hell in a Cell matches, being in the first one and Shawn Michaels never lost to The Undertaker up until this WrestleMania. In any match that they've ever been in, Shawn Michaels, previously had always won, apparently. I have not done my thorough research exactly on that, but he is Mr. WrestleMania, and he's been taglined that, and The Undertaker had a streak for so many years, and 17 years at this WrestleMania, and just the history of their careers just mashing together in one epic story in a match that stole the show, because Shawn Michaels is also known as the showstopper. And then you get the Triple H and Randy Orton match in the main event with the WWE Championship just having the best story going into it, and it was like that. I wanted to see. It was like it was simple storytelling, but elevated to a high extent. The hero is Triple H in this, and Randy Orton is a supervillain, and it's just Orton did so much crap to Triple H. You want to see him get his butt kicked by Triple H in this match, and successfully defend the WWE Championship, because that's for us. He's our champion. We want him to stay our champion, and at the same time, if he can, save his family. It's kind of like Batman Forever, where Batman has to, the Joker is telling him he has to choose between Robin and his, girlfriend, Dr. Trace Meridian, and when he drops them both down to the well, Batman is able to save both Robin and his girlfriend. It's got a similar concept in this main event, And so I immediately could tell that, it's blatantly obvious. The first ever WWE show I ever watched was a ECW episode, like between 2008 and 2009, and the first glimpse of Raw I got was of Randy Orton punting Vince McMahon, and so I could just tell something really dark was happening on Raw, and I have such a story going about that, about how I first, my entrance into being a fan of WWE. That's gonna be my next video. And then you also have the John Cena, Big Show and Edge match, which those three have had a heck of a careers at that point, and they're all legends. Edge and John Cena were like a Batman to John Cena's Batman, and Edge was the Joker or whatever. In the Batman comparison, previously in like 2005, 2006, and Big Show is just a giant, and had won every championship in WWE. He's like one of the few giants in the industry that are similar to Andre the Giant. He was once called the Giant, in fact, the Big Show, but that was in WCW. And then when he went over to WWE, he was called the Big Show. That was in like 1999. Big Show used to have really long hair, but he's now bald. He's like completely bald going into this match at this time, and so it was a real shock when I found him with long hair when he first debuted. It was just a little, it was a bit of a shocker. Like, seeing your dad's hair back in the day, you're a kid, your dad's hair when he was younger, and it's like, what? That's crazy, man. But, that was a really epic match, too, and I think John Cena honestly looked the best with that World Heavyweight Championship, with his muscular physique, his, like, miniature Hulk physique, and that championship, like, I think he honestly looked the best, even though he only won it twice. And Edge is like one of the most, like 11. That's that specific championship, or I think maybe 7 or 8 times, something like that. I mean, Edge is an 11-time world champion, and he's like a 5-time WWE champion, and so that makes him like a 6-time world heavyweight champion. And then you have the Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy matches, like, who are legends in the tag team realm. They're one of the greatest tag teams of all time, and still are going on strong today. And seeing these two have a fallout and have a singles match at WrestleMania in an Extreme Rules match. They really got to showcase what they were capable of at that point, from a tag team splitting off into individual careers, and then winding up back to reuniting, but then Matt Hardy turning on Jeff Hardy, and it's turning into an epic sibling rivalry, which I would eventually find out has happened a number of times in the past with Owen Hart and Bret Hart and stuff like that. But this is my first time seeing that play out, and so that was really interesting. And then when I finally got to learn about their careers, because like I said, this was my first WrestleMania I experienced as a fan. Or actually, I don't know if I mentioned that in this video, but I kind of implied it, I think, in previous videos, if not anything. And then we have and for Matt Hardy to win that was pretty unexpected, because he was the mid-carder going into that match, Jeff Hardy, like the story said, Matt Hardy was jealous of Jeff Hardy's success, and so he wanted to prove that he could beat him and that he was better, or that he just wanted a piece of him at WrestleMania 1-on-1. But I think, of course, Jeff is the one who initiated that match. Would you stop? Get out of there. Now. You are being disruptive. Okay. Anyway. So, yeah, the fact that Matt Hardy ended up winning in the fashion that he did with the twist of fate with Jeff Hardy's head in the steel chair was just vicious and epic, and a surprise victory because you're expecting Jeff Hardy to win, being the accomplished superstar that he was, but somehow Matt got the victory, and Matt doesn't get many, big victories in WWE. He's always been pretty much a mid-card or at least somewhere in between a mid-carder and high-carder, but he's never been WWE champion. He's been ECW world champion. Like, he was the first ECW world champion when I first started watching. And he always looked the best with that championship, in my opinion. But, he never won, like, the WWE championship or the World Heavyweight Championship, or, been as successful as Jeff. And so, it was really nice to see him get a victory at WrestleMania and in a sibling rivalry, an epic story. It was a one-on-one match. It was like a collage of men, like the Money in the Bank, even though that is an impressive victory to have as well. It's just, it's nice to see a focused match with Matt Hardy at WrestleMania getting a victory, even if it was in the circumstances that it was. Then, of course, you got that Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal, which was kind of a joke, in my opinion, because of Santina. I really wish that would have been different, but it was what it was. And, Santina's always been kind of that, comedy relief character, and so, I don't know. I do wish if Beth Phoenix would have won that instead. It was Diva, something, but maybe it was just to keep the girls from having some sort of like inner conflict with each other, I don't know, from killing each other, like, oh, why do you get to be crowned Miss WrestleMania, something like that. Maybe it was just to keep from trouble from rising. Like, why did one diva get to be crowned Miss WrestleMania amongst others, So, we didn't get much tag team, we didn't get a tag team championship match in this, but,